And that's the opening of the show. Yes, the New York Giants fan. This is NFL Live Reaction on the Sports Talk Line Network, where we talk sports 24/7, 365. And we better get to it in a hurry. So, hey, if you haven't done it already, please hit that notify, subscribe, all that great stuff. Let's go talk to Mr. Tom McAllister. I understand the New York Giants, they had a football game today, didn't they?
Yeah. I believe then I showed a lack of faith this week because when we did the Giants weekly show, I said the Giants don't have a chance. They're going to be playing against
And
their
what did I
backup.
say? That's right. Okay.
You know, I was like, you know what? I've been hurt by the Giants before. They're going on the road. They're playing their second string quarterback against Russell Wilson, the Seattle Seahawks. But you know what? This Giants were 11-point underdogs. But you know what? We don't play the game in paper. We play the game on the field. And the New York Giants, they made enough plays. Their defense played lights, freaking.
Golf clap.
A lot of people were saying that the matchup to watch was DK Metcalf and James Bradbury. Metcalf made some plays, but Bradbury also, I think, I don't think he shut him down completely, but he neutralized DK Metcalf. And the Giants had a great game plan. They hit Russell Wilson like he was a ping pong ball. Like he was in one of those old school arcade type deals. But man, Leonard Williams came to play. He had 2.5 sacks. He had a key sack on the Seahawks' final play. Wayne Gallman is becoming a freaking beast. Rushed for over 100+ yards. Wayne Gallman ran for more yards than Colt McCoy threw for.
It's incredible. Now, let me throw this at you, man. Now, I realize Daniel Jones wasn't playing. I think that was a smart decision, to protect his future. Absolutely. But people are all hung up about the quarterback and prolific offenses and all this shit. This was Giants football. This is the best Giants football game I've seen in a few years. What about you? Do you think that?
I think this was something where they beat a top team in the conference on the road. Even with Daniel Jones, this would be a key one. Colt McCoy, he made enough plays. I believe the Giants got the ball with about 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They're able to pick up enough first downs. I give Jason Garrett some credit. They weren't just going to pass, hand the ball off. They used some play action passes. Colt McCoy made enough plays. I believe he connected with Evan Ingram for once, the New York version of Yin Yang or something like that, to say the least. Golden Tate had a solid game. Colt McCoy connected with Darius Slayton. His one catch was able to move the chains. And this is something, too, going forward where, it's great. Daniel Jones should probably be able to heal and come back. And it's something, too, when you look at Daniel Jones, if he's your future quarterback, your team is 4-7. You're not going to and also, if you're the Giants, you saw 2 horrific season-ending, if not career-shortening injuries this year because of your defense. But you know what? Giants fans, they have to be happy. The Giants are on a 4-game win streak.
This is the best team in the NFC East right now is the New York Giants.
Yes, and they got a healthy game lead in the NFC
even
East.
with the quarterback on the sidelines. All right,
Yeah.
Every team in the NFC East this week played with a backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Because Carson Wentz, technically, he's the backup because he didn't win the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I think
so there you go.
But that is something, too, where, to say the least, Well,
it was exciting. Gallman, 135 yards, and your defense suffocating when that New York Giants defense is playing defense. Then it's New York Giants football. Then they're playing in your house. Now you're fighting your fight. You've got them playing your game. And it just didn't work out. I loved it. Another game that went kind of upside down today that I was watching pretty closely, Browns dropped a 40-burger on the Titans, and the Titans didn't know what hit them. They had dropped like 30-something points on them just before the half. I think it was 33, something like that. They were just brutalizing. Baker Mayfield, 25 of 33, 334 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He did have one fumble, like on about the right at the 2-minute warning, where they went for it on 4th and 1. They're ahead, And 4th and 1, Baker Mayfield takes the quarterback sneak, and I got the impression that he called this as an audible. And he fumbled the ball. It almost went all the way, but it did end up being a touchdown for the other team a few plays later. And then they could not get the onside kick and convert. But, they're still the Browns. But when Baker Mayfield is feeling it, and he was feeling it today, man, he's dangerous, and they can move the ball. That was explosive. It was fun to watch. Derrick Henry, he had fumble problems. He actually fumbled one away today. He lost the ball 3 times, but he fumbled 3 times, but only lost the ball once. Very un-Henry-like. He was running well, but you could tell that he just wasn't in sync. The whole team wasn't in sync. The Titans, man, what's going on there with them?
I think when you play the Tennessee Titans, you focus on stopping Derrick Henry. And I'll give Ryan Tannehill a lot of credit. He has had a very good season. He has A.J. Brown and Corey Davis as wide receivers. But Derrick Henry is the engine for the Titans offense. He can take over the game at running back. And I think what really hurt Derrick Henry and the Titans was Cleveland was unstoppable in the first half. They put up such a massive lead where it's, football convention is, okay, we need to start throwing the ball. Sorry, Derrick, because usually the Titans, you keep it close, you wear them down, and then Derrick Henry starts breaking long touchdown runs. That's usually the Titans' recipe for victory, or some play action passes down the field. And
they did both of those. They had the huge play action pass that went for a touchdown to open the second half. It was like the 3rd play of the drive. Boom, boom, boom. They're down there and they score. And Henry was effective when he got the ball. I mean, he was getting first downs, 9 yards, 12 yards, 13 yards, plays like that. But like you say, they took him out of the game.
Yeah, they did. When you're able to go out and put up as many points as the Browns do, it takes Derrick Henry out of the game because you're going to have to throw the ball. And even, if you're gaining yards on the ground, you're killing clock, which is doing your team a disservice.
Well, it was a heck of a performance by the Browns, not taking anything away from them, but it really makes you question what the heck is going on with the Titans. When they have it rolling, like you said, it's almost unstoppable when they have it rolling. But that Browns defensive front, man, they were everywhere. They were in the backfield quick. They were making tackles all over. And Garrett, oh man, he is a man among boys. Let's sit down the scores here, and we'll talk about some relevant games, but a lot of them are going to skip over, but not the first one. Saints 21, Falcons 16. I'm talking about Tayson Hill here, man. 27 of 37, 232 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 picks, 14 of 83 rushing the ball. He did have 3 fumbles, only turned one of them over, but what a weapon. But more important, Tom, we were talking in the green room, Michael Thomas, the biggest weapon on offense, 9 receptions, 105 yards. So Hill is hooking up with their best player. That's what you want your QB to do. This is great news for the Saints, yeah?
Absolutely. Michael Thomas kind of has under-delivered so far in 2020. I believe there was a suspension a few weeks back. But Van, let me ask you this question. This is, looking into the future, looking into try to see what's going to happen later down the line. Do you see Taysom Hill being the heir apparent to Drew Brees?
I don't really think it matters what I think. Does Sean Payton see him as the heir apparent? And you know what? I believe he does.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's why he let Teddy Bridgewater walk. I think that's why Winston's sitting on the bench. I think he thinks he's the better shot, the better weapon, because Payton's not afraid to let him run the ball. No, man, I like him right there. Yeah, absolutely do. And the Saints are in the playoffs. They clinched. They are in.
Yeah.
So that's great news. All right, another game that's over, and all the games are over now. So the scores are all in. We're going to zip through this and then set you up for the afternoon game. Next game up is Lions 34, Bears 30. Yeah, the Lions don't have Matt Patricia as coach. They still play putrid defense today. It's not a good team. The Bears are not a good team. I don't really care about this one way or the other. Do you?
I would say this, it just goes, the biggest victim in this was Jim Caldwell, because Caldwell, he was bringing the Lions to the playoffs. Granted, they thought, hey, they could go deeper in the playoffs. They made a move, and God, this is like addition by subtraction. It seems like if you want to be successful in 2020, you have to fire your coach halfway through the season. The Texans found a little extra gear. They started playing better football. The Lions started playing better football. The Falcons, they got some wins. They found ways to lose games previously, but they found some wins.
Yeah, at least they're not losing so famously, but that's okay. I think another team has picked that up, and we're going to get a chance to talk about that later, aren't we?
Yes.
All right, so moving along, the Colts 26, the Texans 20. And I'm telling you what, this was a football game. This is two teams that are, they just put up a clinic on how to be entertaining on the football field. Phillip Rivers, 27 of 35, 285 yards, 2 touchdowns. Watson, 26 of 38, 341 yards, but no touchdowns, and he threw a pick. That's the difference in the game. Do not count the old man Rivers out. The guy can still fling it. If you hung on to Hilton all year long for your fantasy team, you finally got paid today.
Yes, I would say this. It's almost like the Houston Texans, they're missing like that one breakout wide receiver for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, if they had that guy, like, I don't know, maybe the best receiver in pro football, then, somebody like that, or even a top 5 guy, then, but that couldn't happen. So don't worry about it.
Sorry, Texans.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But I mean, as it turned out, if they would have had that, maybe they would have won this game. They didn't, and they don't. And as we always say at this time, I tip of the cap to Mr. O'Brien. Texas loves you.
Yeah.
Bengals 7, Dolphins 19. I'm going to let you talk about this game all you want, Tom. Just
basically, the Bengals had one play. They scored 77 yards, and that was it. The Bengals are struggling without Joe Burrow. As expected, when you have the number 1 pick as a QB and he has a season-ending injury, man, the Bengals offense, has taken a step back. But hey, Miami, Miami has turned it around. They are 8-4. It's almost like the AFC East has stepped into a 1991 time machine with the Miami Dolphins and Buffalo Bills fighting it out. But hey, you know what? This is a game where, you got to credit the Bengals defense. They didn't get overwhelmed, but they still didn't play good enough to win the game.
All right, well, now moving along to teams, we have the 111 Jaguars with 24 points, the Vikings at 6-6 at 27 points. And, when you have two teams meet up like that, and that's the result, and they're not like all-time opponents, this isn't a derby, they're not going, that's just shameful. And, of course, it goes down to the Vikings defense, which can't put pressure on the quarterback, can't stop the run. So if you're an offense that's having problems, that's the defense you want to run into, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the Vikings were known for a tremendous defense about 2 years ago. We know because all those players are around the league right now. So you know what? They invested in Kirk Cousins, which you can kind of go back and forth. But you got to give credits for the Vikings. They were, I believe, 1-5. They have turned around the ship right now. There are probably 2 teams in the NFC East who are, I would like to call hot right now. One is the Minnesota Vikings, and the other one is the New York Football Giants. Well, if the Vikings could just play the NFC East for the rest of the season, I think they'd have a shot then. Yeah. All right, and a highly entertaining game. And we were mentioning that we're going to be referencing this game. It's here. Raiders 31, the New York Jets almost blew it, 28. They were ahead with just moments left, and this happened. This is what it reads on the official NFL play sheet. 35 seconds on clock. Carr, deep right to H. Russ, 46-yard, touchdown. Yeah, this was something where I believe the Jets got a stop on fourth down. They had a turnover on downs. Jets weren't able to pick up a first down. They decided to punt the ball away. And the Raiders were able to take shots down the field where there was single coverage. Right. There was no safety over the top to provide help. You got to give credit to Derek Carr and the Jets for completing it. And you also got to question, you have to question a lot of things about the New York Jets, but this individual play call, the one shining light is you're this much closer to getting Trevor Lawrence in the NFL draft.
Knock, 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 knock. But of course, your quarterback had a really good day today.
He did.
All right. It is what it is. They are the Raiders.
7-5 Raiders.
Just when people thought, maybe Gruden's doing pretty good, he's dropped 2 stinkers in a row as far as effort of the team. But they pulled this one out against the worst team in the league, barely.
Yeah.
So they got that going for them.
Yeah.
All right. Next up, Rams 38, Arizona Cardinals 28. Remember just a few weeks ago, everybody was saying Cardinals, they're coming on. They're going to be making a statement. And since then they have. They're now 6-6. The Rams are 8-4. Jared Goff, 51 yards, 1 touchdown, 37 of 47. Now, Murray had 3 touchdowns, but he threw a pick, only got 173 yards through the air, and only 15 yards on the ground, 5 rushes. I mean, they played some defense today, but, they got this guy named Aaron Donald.
Yeah, I really think a few weeks ago, I would put Kyler Murray in the discussion for NFL MVP this year. But I think the league is starting to figure him out.
Something's going on because he's definitely not as effective. He's not playing badly. He's just not making those Wunder plays anymore that are game changers. Mm-hmm. So that is what it is. The Rams are definitely trying to make a statement in there with the other teams. The Seahawks are drifting away. The San Francisco drifted away a while ago. So, I mean, that is what it is. They're doing well. Eagles 16, Packers 30. The score was like 26-3 there, I believe, in the fourth. As the Eagles are wont to do with Wentz and company, they made a big play in garbage time. Packers came back. Aaron Rodgers threw another touchdown late. That worked out well for you, didn't it?
It did. I have Aaron Jones in my fantasy team, and boy, did I need that. I need the W to make it to the playoffs. But it was something too, it got down to 23-16, and Aaron Jones made that one run to seal the game for the Eagles. It was another game where it was 20-3 at half. It looked like the Green Bay Packers were outclassing the Eagles. Eagles made it close.
They were.
but Aaron Rodgers is one of the QBs, man. You got to have a lot of talent to be able to come back against him, and he was able to seal the deal.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Just when the Eagles had a little hope, he just goes, nah, come on, I was just screwing with you guys. Here, touchdown. It's all right. It's all right. I got this. All right. Yeah. Now, another team that's Jekyll Hyde this year, and the Chargers have been finding ways to lose, as the Chargers are wont to do. People are wanting Lynn's head, but it really doesn't matter who the coach is. That's the San Diego Chargers way.
First of Marty Schottenheimer.
Oh, excuse me, San Diego. That is the Los Angeles Chargers way. The Patriots, 45, Chargers, 0. We were talking in the green room. Bill Belichick's still the coach, so when the game plan that he comes up with, his players can execute it, they're going to do fairly well, and that's what happened here today, right?
Yeah, you have to think Cam Newton had one of the most historically awful games of an NFL quarterback. He probably had one of the worst performances of a quarterback in the NFL last week, where I think he didn't even score. He had 2 picks, didn't even throw for over 100 yards, no touchdowns, but they still won the game. This week, New England Patriots, they had 2 special teams touchdowns to lead the way in a shutout. They were overwhelming. I think the New England Patriots are the most inconsistent team in 2020, but when they hit, they hit.
Well, and also when they're able to do what Belichick wants to do, I think Belichick has decided that Cam Newton is a limited QB, and because once the decision-making comes up to a certain level, the results have not been good. Here, 12 of 19 attempts, 69 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions. He did what he was asked to do. Stidham comes in, 2 for 3, 61 yards, 1 touchdown. I think we know who the quarterback of the future is going to be, and it's going to be Cam Newton for a while, because if it was going to be Stidham, he'd already be in there. Cam Newton gives them the best chance to win, but they had, all sorts of guys running the football. Damian Harris, 16 carries. Cam Newton, 14 carries. Sonny Michel, 10 carries. They were running the football like crazy, and basically the Chargers, the run is passé, and teams aren't geared to stop it. And Belichick looked at the matchup and said, "You know what, boys? I think we're going to run the football today."
And boy, did they run. And that's patented New England Patriots football. They're going to find that weakness. They're going to exploit it in a way no other team in the NFL can do.
Yeah.
And march it to a victory.
And there's nothing you can do about it. All right, there's one game left today. Let's go ahead and talk about it. It's coming up next here. Probably right as this you finish watching this, you can run over and watch that show. It's going to be at 8:20 p.m. tonight. Broncos versus Chiefs. Okay, Tom, what do you want to say, man? I mean, Chiefs are 10-1, Broncos are 4-7. Chiefs have Mahomes. They don't have any appreciable injuries. They're playing at home. Take the over?
Well, it's also, Denver, I think the NFL definitely put Denver in a bad situation last week with their quarterback situation. And, you see the NFL move around all these games except for Denver. So if you're Denver, you do have a right to feel slighted and feel like you're on a different level. But this is a game where, still Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes. He's a threat. When Patrick Mahomes is in the red zone whenever he steps on the field, especially with Tyreek Hill. So I definitely think Mahomes is going to be Patrick Mahomes.
Oh yeah, he's one of the few quarterbacks in the league, in the history of the league, that when his team is on defense, Mahomes is still a threat to score.
Yes, he is. He's one of those throwback guys.
you got to think that one through, but I mean, it's true. It's true. All right, well, there it is. That's what we're going to take. Hey, as we sign off, Tom, there's two things I want to do. First, congratulate the New York Giants. First place, NFC East, second week in a row. So you guys are on a roll. You're winning 4 games in a row. Congrats. And I understand you got another show that you're hosting that's doing pretty damn well. Something about basketball, right?
Battle for the Big East. We are covering the Big East men's basketball in 2020. Yes, there are playing games right now. So you don't know when Gonzaga versus Baylor was supposed to be a 1-2 matchup, but that got called an hour before the game. I think now most sports fans are just happy if they're able to play a game. If their team wins is another thing. But catch Battle for the Big East. We got a lot of great guests coming on. We cover every school as fair as possible, and that's a reason why you should click that subscribe button for Sports Talk Line.
All right, well, look, everybody out there, thanks again so much. Without you, this doesn't happen. We so appreciate it. Please hit that subscribe, hit that notify, give us a retweet, give us a post on Facebook, whichever social media platform you're on, let people know us about it. And come back next week. We'll be doing the live reaction. We hit this every week in the NFL. We got lots of shows on. We had soccer derby going on today. Arsenal, they did the whole darn game live reaction. It was awesome. This is the place to come for that. Until next time, listen like you play with intensity.